Hi, everybody, and welcome to our Stories of Hope this Sunday night. We are so excited to share with you a little bit about how the Mental Wellness Company's products have changed our families' lives and a little bit more about each combo so that you can see if these products might be a good fit for you and exactly what you've been looking for. But just a little bit about me. My name is Lauren McCoy. I'm a mom of two, and my family's in West Virginia. And I have dealt with anxiety for a very long time. And I heard that the gut is our second brain and that it really does impact how we're doing with our mental health. And so I found some probiotics, I got better, and everything was rocking and rolling for a while. But after my daughter was born, my mental health tanked. And I was looking for a new solution because I was dealing with feelings of depression, feelings of anxiety, having a really short fuse, being angry a lot, and even went through a short season of having suicidal thoughts. And that was the scariest, darkest time in my life. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. But all of that led me to finding a mental wellness company that had founded a few years earlier. I decided to give the products a go after doing everything I could on my own to improve my mental health, and after my doctor said my blood work was totally normal. So gave these products a try, and no kidding, within 3 days, I was already noticing a difference. I was making dinner and I realized I hadn't yelled at anybody in my family all day. And I said, okay, I've got to tell everybody I know about this stuff because it works. So 2.5 years later, here we are. And we have just been spreading the word about holistic solutions for mental health ever since then. So I'm really excited that you're here to learn more. And I'm going to kick this off and have my friend Jessica share a little bit about her testimony on these products.
Hi, good evening. Okay, so I started a year and a half ago with Happy Juice. So I will always go back to that. But the product that I am currently using and having success with is GBX Fit and GBX Burn, which is to help support the metabolism and basically help your body lose weight, help with appetite control, help that communication process work properly. So my problem is that I have been overweight my whole life. Like, I don't have a thyroid. I'm very, very open about not having a thyroid and going through my thyroid journey and figuring out what caused my thyroid. And that's why I am pro Happy Juice for any products that you add, because Happy Juice addresses the cortisol problem, which is a lot of women's problem. It's the stress. And that was my main problem. And then I would stress eat. I've just always dealt with holding weight on. And I have PCOS. I've had 2 kids. So I was excited to try something that really could help address root causes, which is basically your communication processes aren't working. So that's, if I'm to put it in simple terms, when it comes to any type of product that I've used with Amari, what I love is that it addresses communication pathways. That's all it does. It addresses where that communication breaks down. So GBX Fit and GBX Burn address that. And for me, I have started to lose weight. I have lost 12 pounds. And even when my kids were sick, like, my kids got sick and that threw me in stress, and I was stress eating and I recognized that, but I was surprised I didn't gain anything. Like, I just was able to maintain, and I was able to, like, feel good and not have as many cravings and just get through a very stressful time of my kids being sick for 2 weeks. So for me, it's been another support system to help address a communication problem. So if you're looking for weight loss, appetite control, I mean, even if you look at the products, they help address root causes like thyroid issues because they're helping address metabolic issues. And so that's another reason why I love it. So I guess if that helps anyone, you're addressing communication problems, and it comes down to that. So that's kind of my little testimonial. And always throw it in with Happy Juice. I can't not say take everything with Happy Juice. That's my opinion, because it just helps so much. so much stress. Stress is the number one thing, and that's what's helped me a lot.
Absolutely. And I love your story, Jessica. One of my favorite things about GBX Burn is I've tried Thermogenics before and I couldn't take them because they gave me crazy anxiety. But ours is stimulant free and totally plant-based. And I've been able to take it and I've lost 5 pounds in the last 2.5 weeks. So very happy with my results on that.
Yeah. And I will say, like, you have to be eating healthy. You have to be like, if you're wanting to lose weight, if you're going on vacation and wanting to maintain, like, I will say it's actually like, it's helpful there too. But if you're wanting to lose weight, it's always lifestyle. Like, and I do protein. I'm very honest with what I do. I am a very protein based. I eat more protein. I eat more fat. I eat very little carbs and I eat very little veggies. Like, that's my diet and I do great on it. People can do a Mediterranean diet and do great on it. So that's the nice thing, is it can kind of fit with any healthy lifestyle that you want to live.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And I think it's irresponsible to promote weight loss supplements without talking about other ways that people can benefit, right? Like, we are not looking to lose weight. We're looking to get healthy. And weight loss is a side effect of that. So thank you so much for sharing that. I
You're
love
welcome.
your story. Appreciate you.
Thanks.
I know she's got to get off and get her kiddos to bed.
Yeah, sorry. It's 7 my time. It's not 8. So I got to go get kids to bed.
Thanks, Jessica.
You're welcome.
All right, so next up is the lovely Kelsey, and I'm so excited for her to share her testimony around Happy Juice. And if you know Kelsey, you know what a happy person she is, and Happy Juice just enhances that for her.
Oh, shucks. Thanks. Okay, so well, my journey started, it was 2 years in December. It all kind of kicked off in 2020 for me. We moved literally as the world shut down. So we were moving into a new house, the world shut down, we got a puppy. We took in my little brother-in-law. We started homeschooling that year. So there was like, that whole summer was just nothing but change. And looking back, I realized I think that's probably what triggered everything for me. And I realized when we moved that I was just super overwhelmed, because I'm like, okay, we like painted our whole house and like we ripped up all the carpet, and like, you know, this was the first time we were able to really do something like this. And then it was like, okay, then I had to learn how to be a guardian of a teenager, and I had to figure out how to homeschool, and like everything was just really overwhelming. And I was super irritable all the time, like snapping at my kids, snapping at my husband. And I mean, my kids were 1 and like 4 at the time. And it was just like little things that really weren't that big of a deal. And I just was like, all the time. And I knew that gut health was really important. And I knew that my little brother-in-law really needed something to help him. And I kind of had like started my holistic journey around the same time, like a little bit before. So I knew that I wanted supplements. And when I saw Lauren talking about like, this is what anxiety looks like, because to me, anxiety was like panic attacks and like being terrified and paranoia. And I was not experiencing those things. It was overwhelm, fatigue. I wasn't motivated, like irritability. And there was like one post that had all of those things. It was like, anxiety can look like this. And I was like, holy crap, that's me. So I dove in and started looking at everything and seeing, like, I already knew the gut was important. And then, you know, digging into the Mental Wellness Company, you see the gut brain axis and how important that is actually to everything. And so I dove in, and yeah, it was like a few months after I hopped in that Happy Juice came out, and it's been a staple for the last almost 2 years now in my regimen. And I literally have gone from overwhelmed, unmotivated, irritable, tired to the complete opposite. Like I feel like I'm a lot more present. I'm a lot more patient with my kids. I am able to like handle things. And honestly, I'm just able to handle stress. Like things that would have knocked me on my butt or like put me in bed for a week, like thinking about them, I'm like, okay, I might take a few hours or a day and process, and I can move on. Like big things that happen, like financial things or just like life happening. And Happy Juice has really carried me through that for the last 2 years.
I absolutely love that. And I love that you started with fundamentals too. So
Yes.
if you don't mind, there's some overlap with these packs with Happy Juice and with fundamentals. So both have Mentabiotics, which is that probiotic that helps with mental wellness. But talk a little bit more about this gut brain axis thing and the MentaFocus, MentaSync. I want to hear you explain this.
Okay, so when I dove in, I started with what was our flagship pack at the time, which was our fundamentals. So yeah, the Mentabiotics, which is your gut microbiome, powder. I was actually using that to begin with, and the MentaFocus and MentaSync. Originally, I ordered the pack and for my brother-in-law, my little brother-in-law, and he was actually taking those two at the time when I first joined for the first couple months. And I noticed a huge change in him, and he's very like on the spectrum ADHD kind of kid, and it really helped him. Like I noticed it with his schoolwork, I noticed it with his sleep, even honestly just with his mood. Like things started to improve pretty quickly. And I noticed with me, like the Mentabiotics started to help. So then when he was gone, I was like, okay, I have these products, I'm going to use them. So I started taking the full pack after a couple months. And even once I started Happy Juice, there were times that I'm like, I probably don't need Focus and Sync anymore because I'm using Happy Juice. And then I would realize like, wow, I'm feeling pretty unmotivated and like things are not going super well for me, even though I'm like using these mental wellness supplements. And it always attributed back to like not having those. So they've definitely been huge for me, like continuing this journey even. And I love using MentaSync, especially when we're not feeling well. I will like double up because it helps with that immune system. And I love that because every immune boost that I can get when I'm not feeling well, give it to me. So I'll do that. And I know that like MentaFocus definitely helps with my like cognitive function for sure. And I'm a lot more focused, hence the name, when I'm when I'm using it and able to kind of like take on tasks and really like, I don't know, it just really helps your brain function. So like that whole connection, like the focus with your brain and the Mentabiotics with your gut really connects all of that to communicate. Like Jessica said, like those pathways can really communicate most efficiently with all of that.
Awesome. I love this information. And if you're watching this and you're like, I want to see the science behind that, like we give you the cliff notes, but you have to check out the resources from our Chief Science Officer, Dr. Sean Talbot, who developed these products. He has awesome PDFs and videos for each pack so you can learn more as you go. But Kelsey, thank you so much for sharing your testimony. I feel like these products came to you at a time when you really needed that extra stress resilience, and they filled that gap for you, and it makes me so happy. So if you've been listening to this and you're like, well, I want to try Happy Juice and those weight loss products, those actually come together in a pack called the Happy Fit Pack. And it is one of our best sellers, and it is one of our best value packs, like the most bang for your buck. It also comes with one of our digestive products to help keep things moving, because we know it's really hard to lose weight if you are feeling sluggish with your digestive system. So really quick, I am going to pass it over to Sam. Now, Sam has an incredible story around something called our Happy Hormones Pack. So I'm going to let her tell you her story and all about these products that she loves.
Yes. So I love the Happy Hormones Pack because my story is this. I've used gut health supplements for over 6 years now. And about 2 years ago, I was struggling with hormonal migraines, and they were stress induced, they were food induced, they were environment induced, they were caused by a lack of sleep. There were so many things triggering them, but every 3 days, I had a debilitating migraine that was 12 hours long and 12 hours of vomiting. They're medically resistant. I've tried 5 different prescription strength migraine medicines, and they do nothing. They don't even touch the pain of a migraine. And And so I had done a bunch of testing, done a bunch of research, could not find anything that specifically would help with it. And I saw some improvements. Once I started working on taking the fundamentals pack and Happy Juice, I started to notice some improvements, but then I was still getting these migraines around my cycle. And it was like either the beginning of my cycle, the end of my cycle, mid-month, I just could not get them to stop. And then Amare launched the Happy Hormones pack, which includes GBX Fit for metabolic hormones. It includes Mood for stress hormones, and it also includes Ignite. And this is for reproductive hormones, so estrogen, testosterone, and progesterone. Now, I knew that my migraines were hormonal, so I knew that it was because of most likely high estrogen. And so I started on Ignite. The first week was a little rough, but I was committed to find out a routine and rhythm that worked for me. And I'm so glad I did, because now I've been on it, I think 6 or 7 months. I've been on it as soon as it launched, and I don't have any migraines anymore. Like, I cannot tell you the last time I had a migraine, and I don't know the last time I've ever said that. So it has been a very, very long time, and I still track my cycle every month. And I usually have this, like, I know it's coming moment, and then it's like, oh, I didn't get a migraine. Hey, what a lovely surprise. And so it's taken time, and it's taken a lot of hard work. And I mean, actually, it's not hard work. It's simply just take the Happy Hormone pack. It's been pretty awesome to see all your hormones working together, because your stress hormones affect your metabolic hormones, which also affect your reproductive hormones. And so I have seen a huge, huge difference, even in things like PMS. That's not a thing anymore. And like, I used to go through seasons of, I also struggled with anxiety and depression for a long time. And I used to just go through seasons where I was just kind of blah for like a week, and nothing would change it. And yeah, no matter how much I prayed for God to take that away, it always felt like it just never went away. And as soon as I started targeting my hormones, I don't have days like that anymore. And so it's just, you start to notice little thing after little thing. And I'm super, super grateful for the Happy Hormone pack and how it has affected all of my hormones synergistically. And I also vouch for Happy Juice because it's amazing. Because that also helps with mood and cortisol and, you know, everything else everyone has said. So yeah, that is my story with Happy Hormones.
That is awesome. So my migraines were never anywhere near what yours were, but I've had the same result. Like, mine have gone down so much in frequency and in duration and in intensity. Like, if I have one, it's more of just, I mean, I wouldn't even call it a migraine anymore. It's just a headache.
Right. Exactly. And it's so nice because, you know, I homeschool. I have 4 kids. I work from home and I homeschool. And so if I'm sick, like, moms don't have time to be sick like that. Like, every 3 days, 12 hours, I couldn't plan anything because I never knew if it was a sick day or a well day. And then that also caused anxiety, because then it was like, well, this kid wants to have a birthday party. And I'm like, and there's been times where we were like, you know, whatever, let's plan it. And I've been like serving people chicken wings and pizza and then running upstairs to go vomit and like, hey, you take over the party at this point. But it's such a relief. So
Yeah. So it's giving you back, like, not just the ability to be more spontaneous, but also like that relief of anxiety with being able to do more and not have
yes,
migraines totally disrupting your
yes.
life.
And serve my family more. And it's just very nice to not have to worry about dealing with them all the time.
Absolutely. I love that. Thank you so much for taking the time to share your story tonight. So guys, before we wrap this up, I have got to tell you about our kids pack. Because as much as these adult products are phenomenal, we also have a crazy innovative kids pack. And it's got 3 pieces to it. It's got a chewable vitamin. It's got a probiotic drink mix to fire up your kiddos' gut-brain axis too. But it's also got this really unique product called Kids Mood. And it is literally a pixie stick. Like, kids tear the top off, throw it down the hatch, and it helps them with mood, sensory, feelings of anxiousness, stress resilience, focus, and attention, like all these things that kids struggle with. It is really like a magical pixie stick. I'm sure that's not compliant, but I have to tell you my son's story on this product because around the same time that I was starting these products, I was starting him on our kids pack because we had noticed that he was dealing with some major sensory issues. And when I say we noticed, I mean it was disrupting our lives, but we were starting to understand the what was going on behind the scenes, what was causing it. And I have background as a special educator. So around a year before, I noticed a few things just weren't right. He was more than just a picky eater. And he was more than just a little bit bothered when things didn't go his way, or when there was a loud sound in the background that he didn't like, or he would frequently be sensory seeking. So he's constantly moving or making sounds or spinning or swinging. And so, but what really was the trouble was the sensory meltdowns. So we could not identify what was triggering him. And I'm sure it was all variety of things, but he would have hour-long sensory meltdowns, like kicking, screaming, spitting, just flailing on the floor. And by the time he finally recovered from that, he was drained, we were drained. It was incredibly disruptive to our lives. And we just felt like he was inside this like hard shell and couldn't really access who he was. It was like he wasn't able to be himself because of this cloud over him. And just also trying to teach a 3-year-old, 4-year-old coping strategies and how to breathe deeply and name that feeling and where does it show up in your body. Like when your kid is melting down on the floor, you can't teach them those things. So we needed something to help him in the moment, so physiologically, so we could do better. And started him on this kids pack and started to notice changes around 2.5 to 3 weeks. But the day that we really noticed it was Christmas Eve. He was sitting on the couch and our dog jumped up on the couch next to him and he started petting her. And we did not even realize how bad and weird things were until they were normal. He had never done that before. He had never just snuggled and pet and loved on his own dog. He was like timid around her and afraid. And I just looked at my husband and like tears just started streaming down my face because I was like, oh my gosh, like we have our kid back. Like it was nuts. And so clearly, like that's part of why I'm so passionate about these products, because between my testimony and my son's, like the atmosphere in our home is so different than it was 2.5 years ago. So I'm really excited that you guys were here to learn more about the products. And I want to offer an invitation. So if you want to learn more about these products, go back to the person who invited you and tell them what stood out about our stories and what you've heard in the past about our products so that we can recommend something that's going to be the best fit for you and get you more information and get you the best deal also. But if you're interested in doing more of what we do too, learning more about being a brand partner and sharing these stories of hope, we want to invite you to an event tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern happening inside a Facebook group where we share a little bit more about the company, how we're paid, the systems and tools that we have in place to help people share. Just know that with our company, 5 referrals a month is $500. And it's a very generous way to get started in social selling, and people are actively seeking solutions for mental wellness for themselves and their kids, and they can get them from you. And so it's really great to make an income doing that, but it's even better to have a huge impact in people's lives too. So thank you guys for tuning in tonight. We're going to stop the recording for a Q&A.